What's going on, guys? So I put the light and valve spring in this guy. It's from the Tech T paintball thing kit, spring kit, and then I have the what I'm assuming is the stock main spring in here right now. I just want to see if I can get 326 or 320 or somewhere around there with the light and valve spring, with the new valve spring. So yeah, I just want to see basically like what a baseline is now that I have a lightning spring in here. I don't know if it's going to be higher or lower, but I was hitting 326. Right now I have it connected to the HPA tank, and I was hitting 326 with what I'm assuming was the stock valve spring and the stock main spring. So the only thing that's different now is I have the lightened valve spring. 306, 316, and my velocity adjuster is opened up all the way. 306, 316, 314. So I don't see any increase or anything because of the valve spring. If anything, it's pretty much the same as it was. So I'm going to switch out the spring to I'm going to switch out the main spring to one of these Tech T paintball springs, and I'll see which one. I'll probably end up using the red one or the black one. Those are the harder ones, or like the longest ones in this kit. And then lastly, I'll use the short one that it says it's the strongest spring, but it's a little bit shorter. And I'll just see what these do. And then it's really hot out here right now. It's probably like 95 or something. It's pretty damn hot. So yeah, I'm gonna use this red one, and then I'm gonna use the black one, and then I'm gonna use this silver one, or it's not silver, but it's called like steel gray. But it's slightly shorter than the other ones, but it looks like a heavier wire gauge. So I'm going to switch it out real quick. I'll be right back. I forgot to mention, I'm shooting the same nylon rounds that I've used in the past. So these are 3.6 gram nylon balls. The bore size is about 0.680, and they're assorted brands, but I just keep using these same ones over and over. So this is the red spring, which is the second strongest, or I guess third strongest spring from that kit. 328, 322, and I'm on an HPA tank. 324, 324, 326. So I'm going to switch out the spring again, the main spring, and I'll be right back. All right, you guys, I put the black spring in here. So it's like a full length spring, but it's the second strongest in the kit. I think the strongest one has a thicker wire gauge and it's a little bit shorter, but the instructions say it's supposed to be used with their zero kick hammer. I'm still going to try using it, but this is the black spring. 332, and my velocity adjuster is opened up all the way, and I'm using HPA right now. 320, 320, 322. So it's kind of just, it's not going any faster than before I put a spring kit in here. The valve spring might be a little bit tense still. 322. So I will have to try taking out the valve spring that I just put in there and put the normal one back inside, the stock one, and see if I get higher numbers, because that has the valve spring basically allows the valve to stay open longer. And since this has this is the stock one that I pulled out of there yesterday, since this has more wear and tear on it, it's a little bit, it's hard to tell with your fingers. I don't have a a way to measure how much pressure, like a way to measure that, how like rigid the spring is or how tense it is, other than just using my fingers to squish down on it. So I might have to put the old one back in, but I still have this last spring to try out, and I'm gonna put that in the marker right now and see what I get. All right, you guys, I put the shortest spring in here, but it's supposedly the thickest. It's the strongest one, it's the thickest gauge from what it looks like. So yeah, here we go. HPA tank, same rounds, same Tippmann A5. Other than these springs and this TCR barrel that I have on here, everything else is stock. 336, 326, 332, 328. So far, no big improvements on anything. 322. I'll try the stock valve spring. I'll try putting it in here. I don't know if that's gonna do anything. I do have the stock bolt, which doesn't plug up air from leaking out the back. Yesterday when I was reassembling this A5, I was trying to stick a put a O-ring in there just to see if I can get one to go in there and move with the bolt without like curling up or whatever, like with it still functioning correctly, and it wasn't able to work. The O-ring kept on like just kind of, it was just too tight of a fit, and I tried a really skinny O-ring and it was just too much pressure in there to be able to work correctly. So I'm gonna degas this. I have a CO2 tank right here. I'm gonna try the CO2 tank. So this is basically the lightened valve spring in here and the heaviest drive spring from this paintball kit. So I'm gonna stick it on CO2, see if I have anything higher than 336 or 338, because that was my previous highest number using CO2 and these same rounds. So I'll be right back. All right, you guys, I have my CO2 tank attached. Same springs that I was just using on the HPA tank. This CO2 tank is kind of low, so if I don't have anything close to like 340, I'm gonna get my fully loaded tank. So yeah, I think this CO2 tank's like low. I'm gonna see if I can get another shot. 194. So yeah, this CO2 tank is it's pretty much on its last leg. I'm gonna switch it out. All right, you guys, I got a pretty much fully topped off CO2 tank attached to this. It has like 500 grams of CO2 in it, and remote line TCR barrel, Tippmann A5. I'm using the same 3.6 gram nylon balls. And I'll see if I can hit 336 or higher. All right, we're getting somewhere. 368. 370. So yeah, my conclusion with CO2 versus HPA is, yes, CO2 is not as stable, and it's, unless it's cold, you're not going to get the same results as you would with HPA. But HPA is more consistent, more stable, and if I had an 1100 output PSI tank, which I don't, it might be able to stand on par with the CO2, but right now CO2 for most of my markers is better. 372, 364, 368, 368. So compared to the normal springs that I had before, the highest I got with the stock spring and the stock valve spring, like everything all stock aside from this barrel, with the same gas that I'm using now, CO2, the highest I got was 338, and I'd only get like 1 or 2 shots at that speed, and then it'd go to like 332 or 336. And when I used HPA, I was pretty much not getting any higher than 326 or 332. I think that was the highest I had, even when I switched out springs and all that. So the only other thing that I can do right now with the stuff that I currently have, like random miscellaneous parts and accessories and stuff, is to put the original valve spring back into the marker and see if it's higher than 368 or 370 or whatever. And then I can also switch back to the second strongest spring to see if this one performs better than the strongest spring that's a thicker gauge but a little bit shorter than this one. And then I can also kind of like shim the spring a little bit, because this marker where the spring goes, there's a little bit of like space that the spring kind of sets into, and I believe I can stick some BBs in there to shim the spring. I can shim where the spring goes into the back of the hammer, because there's a on the back of the hammer there's a little like receptacle for the spring to fit in. I don't know exactly what it's called. It's not the spring guide, but on this marker there's like a little plastic insert that goes in the back of the hammer, which is where the spring loads into, and that little plastic insert has like a cutout on it, so you can you can put stuff in there. It's mainly made to fit the spring, but I could put like BBs or something in there to kind of in a sense like shorten the spring or shim it so that it has more pressure overall. And that's just stuff I can do with the current things I have, which is, you know, the the stock valve spring, and then just kind of fiddling around with these aftermarket spring kit and with like trying to shim it and stuff. So I put the black spring back in here. It's essentially the second strongest spring in that kit, but it's longer than the strongest spring. So the only thing I could do is basically keep screwing around with these springs and change them out and see what I get the best results with. So black spring is back in here. I think the highest I got on the previous spring was 372, 358, 352. So yeah, that stronger spring is better so far, it seems. 346, 344, 336. So there's my dog. I'm not gonna shoot in that direction anymore. So I'm going to, I don't know if I'll be able to do it tonight because it's almost 6 and the sun comes out, like the sun sets in a little bit, but I'm probably gonna switch out the valve spring tonight, and then maybe tomorrow I'll be able to film another video using the stock valve spring and the heaviest mainspring that I got from this kit, and I'll see if there's any difference. So as it stands right now, this spring right here was the heaviest one in this kit, and I got 372 feet per second with the new valve spring and that main spring, which goes right here. So yeah, I'm gonna put the stock valve spring back in there, try this spring, and see if I get higher than 372 or if it's lower. And then other than that, I can try shimming the spring a little bit. And then other than that, I can try getting a new bolts for here that might have an O-ring that stops air from leaking backwards. And I think that hammer might help, but it might not do anything. It could just be a waste of money. And that's kind of like one of the more expensive things I can do to make this stronger. But I don't know, if a $55 piece that may only give me like 1 or 2 more joules, or it may make it worse. It's kind of like a trade-off. Like, I don't know if I should even mess with that. So I think 372 it's above 20 joules for sure. That's like probably 22 or 23, because I think 400 feet per second is 400 feet per second is about 27 joules with these weight of ammo. So I'll just add the joule ratings in this video. So I'm just kind of blabbering about nothing right now because it's going to be put in the video. So anyways, see you guys next time, and yeah, thanks for watching.